Alright, Logan here with Battleground. Just got out of church, boys are napping, so I figured I'd make a quick video. What I'm going to do right now is I'm going to tune my broadheads to my field points. Now a lot of mechanical broadheads and even some fixed broadheads will fly just like your field points. So if you got your bow tuned to your field points, a lot of the times you're good. But sometimes, and you'll notice, especially when I was early on in archery and bow hunting, my broadheads, they would fly different. I didn't understand yet how to tune your broadheads to your field points, and that's a very important step. So what we need to do first is we need to sight in at 20 yards with your field point. Let's find that in the camera. I put my lighted nocks on, so hopefully. Alright, so there's my 20-yard arrow. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to put on our broadhead. So alright, so a lot of time the broadhead manufacturer itself will send a practice head in the package. And that's always a good thing. If it doesn't, I always dedicate one broadhead as my practice head, alright? And then the rest of them I'll use for hunting. And if I like the broadhead design and the broadhead brand, I'll buy, multiple packs of them, so I have multiple that I hunt with. But right here is my designated practice broadhead, and I turned my target around to the broadhead side, and I'll show you real quick. Alright, so I've shot at this target quite a bit, and what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to shoot at that green, the biggest green spot on there, and that's actually the liver. What you're looking at is a vital diagram of game animals. So what I'm going to do now is at 20 yards, same thing, I'm going to aim direct middle of that green patch right there. So here we go. Alright, so the next step in this process is we need to adjust our rest. Our bow is tuned to our field points, which field points are very forgiving. And as a hunter, we bring another aspect into the realm of archery whenever we add broadheads instead of field points. Our pins are set up, sighted in at 20 yards. We're going to adjust our rest at this point to bring our broadheads to the point of impact where our field points are. When we adjust this rest right here is not a micro adjustment rest. You use an Allen wrench and it has little tick marks. Now in the video before, I moved it one whole tick mark, which is only a 1/16 of an inch, if that, and it brought my arrow impact over 6 inches. So move a fraction at a time. All right, so here we're going to adjust it. Our impact was to the left, so what we need to do is we need to move our rest to the right, because if you think about it, you got your string here and your rest here. Whichever way you move your rest is where that arrow is going to be pointing, okay? So we shot to the left, I'm moving it to the right. Alright, so now that we brought our arrow over by moving our rest in the opposite direction of our original impact with our broadhead, I'm going to shoot a field point, because the goal of broadhead tuning is to get your field points and your broadheads to group together. Now, that may not be where my pin is, my sight pin has it, because I've moved my rest right now. What you do after you get them to group together, then you move your sights accordingly. Then your broadheads and your field points are tuned together. So here we go. Alright, so if you needed to make an elevation adjustment, which my first shot I thought I was going to have to, but after playing with this and bringing it over, it's actually pretty close to where it needs to be. If you needed to make an elevation adjustment, you could raise and lower your nocking point by sliding your nocking loop or just moving your nock if you still shoot with one of those. Alright, so here it is. I got my field tip on top up here, and then to the bottom left, about 7 o'clock, I got my broadhead. They're only about 3/4 of an inch apart, so I'm happy with that, because that could be on my end, human error, but in my opinion, these are grouping together. I'm gonna keep shooting just to reconfirm that they are, and then you can do so. You can move back 30, 40, and 50, or whatever you want to do, and just make sure your field points and your broadheads are flying together, because at that point, when they're both grouping together, your bow is performing to the best of its ability in a hunting situation. So I hope you all liked the video, and I'll catch you again on Battleground.